Got 71 F100 chassis, frame, all the suspension components, axles, box full of parts, all headed out to get powder coated. We'll hit you back when we're picking it up. At Desert Coating Solutions, Phoenix, picking up 71 F100 short bed, regular cab, chassis, and all its suspension components. Powder coated, BK08, satin black. Stay tuned and we'll get it all unwrapped, put together, get her back to rolling on the ground. Stay tuned. Alright, we got the 71 F100 4x4 chassis and all the components back from Desert Coating Solutions. So we're going to unwrap, itemize everything out, put it on the pad, and then we are going to put the trans cross member and the motor mounts, put all the bushings back together, put the motor mounts on the engine. We have the engine, transmission, and transfer case all married into one. So then we will get it all set into the frame. You guys can see how we do that. And then we'll slowly go along cleaning, tapping all the threads, make sure everything's clean, and then we'll start hanging all the suspension components. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, follow for more. If there's ever anything I could talk somebody into, is powder coating. It's all satin black. We're going to use grade 8 hardware, so it's going to have a good contrast between the black hardware and gold, so it'll look good. Alright, so we've gone through, cleaned up some of the threads, got our motor stands mounted and hang. We're cleaning up the pass-through bolts that actually hold on the coil buckets. We got our fabricated body mounts on. I went through and cleaned up and put all of our bushings together so everything is lubricated and pressed in for the engine mounts and the trans cross member. So we'll get the trans cross member mounts on, get the cross member on, we'll get the mounts on the engine. Once Jason's done hooking up the coil buckets and the engine mounts, then we'll pick the LS6, the 4L80 and the 205 transfer case is one unit. Get it through here and then we'll get it set up. Alright, here's a close-up view of all of the powder-coated items, the coil buckets, the motor stands. Get my finger out of there. Just a contrast between everything that is powder-coated and the new grade 8 hardware. Fabricated front cab mounts that we had installed. The busted knuckle garage radius arms on. Our transfer case cross member is in and loose. We're going to sling up the engine here in a minute and get it stabbed in here. Our Fox shock mounts, and then our rear shackle hangers. Then we'll be putting the radius arms together, the shock towers for the front, and we will keep plugging along. Almost. Pretty good.
Swing, baby, swing! So it's gonna go that way. Little machine?
Yeah, one of those little hook hammers right there on the floor.
I'm going towards you.
Okay. Yep, it's got to come
Back now.
back. Okay, one more. Okay, we can come
Come down a little bit.
Just a tad.
Watch your toes and fingers, make sure your fingers are out of the way. Okay, try and go down slow.
Okay, stop.
The other side, the next.
Yes. Pull back. Okay. Up just a tad. Okay. Now down just a tad.
That's a ram.
Yeah.
Haven't moved it, so.
Sorry. Okay. Keep going down. Okay, down.
Working on it.
Alright, got the video muted now because it is pouring down rain. You can see it puddling up underneath the roll-up door. Now I'm just continuing on mounting both driver and passenger dual shock mount hoops. They bolt into the frame and tie into the coil bucket for extra stability. We made these per the vehicle, so they fit as a one-off item. 71 F100 4x4. We made custom shock hoops for the dual Fox shocks that are on here, and then our shock reservoirs are going to mount either under the shock or to the whatchamacallit, to the shock hoop. We got one here, and then one will be across here, so should be a good contrast between the powder coat and then the inner fender apron, which is that forest gray color, so it should really push everything out towards you. Thank you for keeping watching. Alright, now working on the rear leaf springs. Got the bushings all greased and pins all slid in. So then wrestling these in to get the rear suspension hung. And then this will be part one. Part two, we will be installing the front and rear differential with the gears, hubs, spindles, bearings, all that jazz, and then finishing everything off with the Willwood brakes. So this is what it looks like with the dual Fox shocks on there and the rear suspension being hung. Thank you. Stay tuned, follow, like, subscribe, and share, and comment if you guys like what you see. Stay tuned.